The land stretches out before us, a vast expanse of sun-beaten earth. And we, an off-grid couple, tucked away in the middle of nowhere in Australia, stand on the edge of something greater than ourselves. The air feels different here, still and dry, as if holding its breath, waiting for the rains, and it never seems to come. Our soil, once rich and teeming with life, is now compacted from the constant trampling of animals before us, hardened under the weight of time and neglect, and the fires have taken so much, leaving behind ash and silence where there was once vibrant, buzzing life. But despite all this, despite the harshness of the land and the struggle to coax life back from it, we have hope. A hope born not just from dreams, but from knowledge. In the last few weeks, something shifted. We've stumbled upon resources we didn't know existed, and with them, our journey to create a food forest in this unforgiving land has gained a new sense of purpose. It's as if the universe heard our silent pleas, and now we've been given a map, a path forward, if only we're willing to follow it. As we've been making changes around the property, we've had our fair share of encounters with the local wildlife. One such visitor decided to take up residence right in our compost bin, a big redback spider. These spiders are notorious in Australia, with their distinctive black bodies and bright red stripe down the back, a warning sign to steer clear. At the Granite Borders Landcare Wattle Day, we were swept away into the fascinating world of wattles, learning the scientific names of all the different species native to our area. It was like diving into a book of spells, with their names that sounded more like they belonged to Hogwarts than in the bush. Acacia cultriformis, Acacia venulosa, each name rolling off the tongue like a magic incantation. I couldn't help but imagining us waving wands around and summoning trees with a flick of a wrist. To top it off, we were incredibly lucky to win the raffle prize, a beautiful little book titled Wattles of the Granite Belt and Surrounds, published by the Stanthorpe Rare Wildflower Consortium. On top of all the amazing things we learnt at the Wattle Day event, we were thrilled to leave with a couple of special gifts. Sarah from the Mole River Nursery gave each of us a wattle tree for attending. We got an Acacia Gossamer and an Acacia Implexa. I think it's also known as lightwood, and it truly made our day. These two trees will not only add beauty to our land, but will also contribute to its regeneration. And we also got to try some of Auntie Helen's wattle seed damper, which was amazing. Our journey has truly taken root in the soil with the start of a permaculture course led by Lana. Lana is a woman whose wisdom flows as freely as the rain we so desperately crave.
Yep, and I will print out all of this. We're going to put these in, which is giving us oxygen access, and then tomorrow I'll come and pull these out, and those holes will still be there, but they will be there for the whole 12 months, those air chambers. Okay, so that is sort of mitigating us needing to come and turn it. It's taking me out of the equation.
Did you say you would pull those holes out?
Yes, yeah, so tomorrow we'll come through.
Her passion is infectious, and suddenly my brain feels like it might explode from everything we've learnt. Lana has taught us about soil, how it works and how to heal it, and how we've been getting so much of it wrong. So in this class, Lana is teaching us how to build a no-turn compost. It's a composting method that eliminates or minimises the need to manually turn the compost pile.
It's very inconvenient when it's hot, and it's like you've got to turn it, and you've got to turn it now. It's like, and then if you've got no helper, it's a big job. So this takes that out of the equation.
Check with Lana.
One leaf off as many things as possible. Every single one has a different microbe. So, you know, I could have picked hundreds. I just didn't have time, really. It's simple.
Lana speaks in the language of permaculture, where earth care, people care and fair share are more than just ideas. They're lifelines for the future. She doesn't lecture, she lives it, quietly reminding us that we can regenerate the land without spending a cent at the store. She has shown us for the past 10,000 years humans have tried to live off the land and how, especially in recent decades, we've failed. Crops drain the soil's nutrients, and instead of replenishing them, we've turned to synthetic, petroleum-based solutions. But the earth remembers our mistakes, our neglect. And Lana's life work is about helping us fix those mistakes, one compost pile, one seed, and one relationship at a time.
So any diversity you put in, more and more diversity, then you'll end up with more and more micro.
Lana's permaculture course has truly lit a fire in us. Her knowledge is vast, her experience stretching over 3 decades of working on the land, and yet she shares it with us so generously and simply that even we, beginners in this ancient art of farming, can grasp its beauty. It's as if she speaks the language of the earth itself, and slowly she's teaching us how to listen. Permaculture, she tells us, is not just about growing food, it's about restoring balance and understanding the land and our place within it. We've learned that permaculture is more than just a sustainable alternative to conventional agriculture. It's a philosophy, a way of life. It enhances soil quality, promotes biodiversity, and combats climate change. But it also teaches us how to care for each other and the earth, how to live in harmony with the natural world instead of fighting against it.
I don't even have to turn it, I don't even have to make it.
The 3 core ethics of permaculture, earth care, people care, and fair share, are at the heart of everything Lana teaches. They're simple but profound. In a world that often feels disconnected and chaotic, these principles offer a path back to something more grounded, more meaningful. Lana's approach to earth care is practical, rooted in her own journey. She doesn't just talk about healing the land, she's done it. 7 years ago, her soil was as compact as ours, lifeless and struggling. But instead of giving up, she dug deep just once and began the slow process of restoring fertility.
I think I need to have a drink and a break. But this is saving the world, one shovel at a time.
Yeah, so do we have enough?
It's never enough. It's never enough for me. For me.
So Lana has advised to add compost, mulch, seaweed, fish and water, creating a living system that nourishes itself. Because now her land is abundant, rich with biodiversity, and she hardly ever needs to buy anything from the store. That's the beauty of it. Permaculture isn't just about quick fixes or expensive solutions. It's about working with nature, not against it, and over time the land gives back tenfold. I remember her words as we were sitting at the edge of our own garden, staring out at the compacted earth, the dry grass, and the empty space where life used to be. The problem with modern agriculture, Lana said, is that it's forgotten the land. Crops take from the soil without giving back. The soil loses its ability to support life. And we started relying on petroleum-based fertilizers and they only mask the problem. But permaculture is different. It's about relationships, about understanding how we each work together to create something greater than the sum of its parts. In permaculture, we don't focus on individual plants or crops. Instead, we look at the whole system, the soil, the water, the animals, and the people, and how they interact. We learn to place things where they'll thrive, to create a synergy that minimises waste and effort while maximising the health of the land. And it's not just about the earth. People care is just as important, and Lana embodies this ethic. She's been teaching these classes for years, asking nothing more than a donation for offering her wisdom, and she makes homemade morning tea to anyone willing to learn. She gives away plants. She gave us mushroom spawn, she gave us comfrey plants, she gave us strawberry runners, and whatever people need to get started on their own journeys. What stands out to me is how she simplifies everything. 30 years of experience, and she can break it down so that someone like me, who's still trying to understand the basics, can follow along. It's comforting to know that we don't have to be experts to make a difference. We just need to start, to take small steps and learn as we go. And that's exactly what we've been doing, slowly but surely transforming our land, one shovel of compost at a time. The things we've been doing right give me hope. We've been adding good soil, making our own compost, mulching with straw, and harvesting rainwater. We've learned to use seaweed and Nutritech BAM to nourish our plants, and we've embraced the compost toilet, knowing it's better for the environment. But there's so much wrong we've done too. Mowing too much, raking away the leaves, tilling the soil too shallowly for our sunflowers, adding lime without understanding its impact really, and not turning our compost often enough. It's humbling realising how much we still have to learn. After a day of class, we came home excitedly to put everything we've learned into practice. I reshaped the garden bed and we mulched around all of our trees, and we tried to create a foundation for what's to come. Our next class will be about making compost tea and worm tea, and I can hardly wait to see how these natural fertilisers will transform our soil. And even though we've realised that we're doing some things wrong, we're not discouraged. If anything, we're more motivated than ever to make things right. At the heart of everything we've learned is soil, the foundation of all life. Lana explained how the soil works, how it needs to be nurtured, and how permaculture can restore the earth to health, even after fire and years of neglect. She taught us that permaculture is not just a way of farming, but a philosophy, a sustainable alternative that enhances soil quality, increases biodiversity, and combats climate change. It's about earth care, people care, and fair share, and the three core ethics that guide every decision that we make on this land. One of the exciting things we learned from Lana was how to grow King Stropharia mushrooms, also known as wine cap mushrooms, from spawn. These mushrooms are not only delicious but also fantastic for improving soil health. The process starts with creating the right environment. King Stropharia mushrooms thrive in moist, rich, organic like material, wood chips, straw or mulch, perfect for adding to our garden beds or around trees. Lana taught us that we first need to layer the garden bed or the environment where we want to grow them with wood chips, ensuring it's damp but not waterlogged. Next, you mix the mushroom spawn into the mulch. King Stropharia is a run and spread species, meaning it colonises the substrate quickly.
Okay. So we've soaked those wood chips. So they're wet, but they're not water draining through them. So we're gonna put a bit there, and then take the King Stropharia mushrooms.
The key is to evenly distribute the spawn so it has plenty of surface area to grow.
And we're just gonna mix it through and just pat it down a bit. Little bit more.
After spreading the spawn, you top it off with another thin layer of mulch to protect it.
Take the other cup that we got, put it in there. Mix it around a bit. Press it down. Voila! We then put a cover over top of it and put it somewhere dark.
And keep it moist.
Yes. So probably inside. Now I can spread the rest of these.
You need to put a cover over it that it can breathe through as well. So a piece of cardboard or something like that, she suggested.
Did she?
Yeah, that'll do. Just put something on it. Like this bottle of distilled water. That's it.
Ta-da!
And that goes in a dark place. We ended up putting our mushrooms inside a cardboard box and putting it under our dining table. It's humbling, realising how much we have learnt in the last few weeks, but how much more we still have to learn. After a full day of class, we came home with strawberry runners, mushroom spawn, and excited to put everything we've learnt into practice. We reshaped the garden bed that I'd started, and we found out that we could get some mulch for free, and we went out and got a whole big trailer load full. So we came back and mulched all around all of our trees, and our next class is going to be about making compost tea and worm tea, and I can hardly wait to see how these natural fertilisers will transform our soil. And as the sun sets, we settle in by the fire pit. Paul has made for Eli and his friends to go camping next week. Truffles runs around wild, chasing an old chook food bag. Her joy is a reminder that even in the midst of all this hard work, there's still room for play. Our mushroom and chicken pasta warms us from the inside, and as we sit there watching the flames flicker, I feel a deep sense of peace.
Get it. Killed it. Bobby. Get it. Get it. Hey, Bobby. Hey. Get it. Get it. Get it.
As we sit by the fire enjoying our dinner, the night brings out one of our more quiet neighbours. A mother brush-tail possum with her baby clinging to her back, cautiously emerging from the shadows. They're startled and they scurry away. We're on a long journey and there's still so much to do. but for the first time, I feel like we're on the right path. The land will heal, just as we are learning to heal it. And as we continue down this road with Lana's guidance and principles of permaculture to light the way, I know that we'll not only survive, we'll thrive. And I can't wait to share more of what we've learned, because this is just the beginning.